right, so welcome to Zero, which is this strange game from the 1990s. And everybody is a member of a far future society, which is heavily automated and mechanized. So everybody is fitted with mechanical parts to fit their role in society. And you have a function, you are a soldier, or you are a breeder, or you are some kind of other thing like that. And you have, you're all telepathic, and you are used to being in such constant telepathic communication that you have never thought for yourself. You may have had opinions and things, but they go out and communicate with others and come back, right? So this occurs in society in these rings, because in the middle is somebody named Zero. Then there are individuals named 1 through 9. Then there are individuals named 11 or 10 through 99. You see the point, right? So to find out your name, roll these and just put them in order at random. And so 6 10-sided dice. And those 6 numbers are your name. And they go
Can you
right here.
decide
Name.
where?
It doesn't matter. It means nothing. So you should just do it at random. It's more fun that way. Okay, 6. So the next thing to do is to choose what function your character has. So you are very low status. You belong to an enormous number of 6-digit individuals, and that doesn't mean they're the only ones you interact with, but you are very, very deep in the hierarchy of this large colony. And so we will decide what caste you want the character to be from, or what function you serve, effectively. There are archivists, and remember, all of you are biologically and mechanically altered to serve this function. So you are all pretty strange looking. So if you have to imagine it, imagine a little bit of an insect theme to the technological alteration. So there is the archivist, right? There is the breeder, who is more like a doctor, doesn't necessarily mean you personally breed. And the drone, who is more generalized and more of a laborer. Soldiers and technicians. So
we choose freely?
Choose freely.
I'm going to go for technician.
Okay.
Then I go for archivist.
Now, so our next step is to decide. Okay, well let's do this. There are some requirements for each one. Let's start with the archivist. You will. Okay, first of all, everybody is telepathic. So take your pencil or whatever and mark under for telepathy. You have a focus. You will mark the focus box for telepathy. And if that is your only focus ability, then you will put a 1 in the middle in this circle. But you will probably want more focus abilities, and then that number will go up. If you have 3 focus abilities, it is a 3, for example. So then, for the archivist, it says you must take either the cleverness or the telognosis ability.
Explain telognosis.
Yes, I will. And I should point out it is okay to take both. It is just that you have to have at least one of those to be an archivist. Telognosis is the right here. It's basically being able to project your mind out into time and space to see what has happened, what will happen, or what is happening far away, anything like that.
And the other one?
Cleverness, which is the more mental, psychological quality. it is, again, okay to have both. Archivists tend to have, to go in that direction. Whereas, Odin, for a soldier, you cannot have any of these trained skills as a focus or a prior. These will be unmarked for you to start, right? And furthermore, you must have at least one of the combat abilities as a focus. You may well have more of them. If you have the combat psionics ability, it means that whatever abilities you have for the psionic abilities, well, I mean, you have all of them, really, technically. It means that they have combat applications and you know how to do it. And then, let's see, so that is it for the soldiers. Soldiers usually have, you begin the game with the number of weapons equal to the number of combat focus abilities. So if you have like 3 of these, then you start with 3 weapons of your choice. Many soldiers' weapons are part of their bodies. So if you have a melee, you have brawling, and that means you can fight with hand-to-hand weapons as well as fists and feet. You could mount a bayonet into your forearm, for example, or something like that. And even replace like a hand with a shotgun or something. So for the archivist, to go back to the gear, archivists have memory chips permanently wired into your brain, and that means you don't forget anything. Sometimes you get a little confused about where it is, but you don't actually lose the data. And also, we can talk about a few other things. You can connect up with.
Are you sure that's something crucial?
Exactly. It sounds a little familiar, correct?
I spent 25 minutes looking for data today, so
yeah.
Like,
It is
you
in
asked
here.
me.
It is in here. I know it is in here. Who saved this file without giving it a special name? Who saved this file with the default, code that the computer assigned you? Who did that? I want that person now. Yeah. So in the case of the archivist, there are a few other things, but effectively, if a machine is computerized, then you can hook into it and make it go. So then for the technician, let's see, a technician must take either the telekinesis or one of these, except medicine. So, or you can, and don't forget, you can always do both. And you can also choose whatever focus skills you want in case, except you cannot have a combat ability as a focus.
Is there a number, a maximum number or something like that?
The maximum is 9. And however, you may want to examine the system in a moment before you get a little too excited about it. Yeah. And so then for the drone, just to carry through here, drones can begin the game with any focus ability. And they, you can take strength. If you don't take strength, then you will mark it as prior. You will mark it on this side. So a drone is never untrained in strength. So here's how it works. You have focus skills with the box on the left checked. You have prior skills with the boxes on the right. Those are things you have learned in the past but don't use very much. And then you also have some skills that have no marks. Those are called untrained. Okay, here's how you do things. You roll 2d6, you multiply them. And let us say it is a focus skill. I have that here. You will try to equal your number or higher. If it is a prior skill, you need to equal the number or lower. If it is an untrained skill, it must be lower. So for example, if you have a very high focus number, you are better at your untrained and prior skills. So in other words, to be focused, having a low number, is more effective. So therefore, you choose the number of focus abilities that you want, up to 9, for that purpose. Let's see if there are any other restrictions that I'm not. Okay, so you heard your restrictions. I know I said them to
Did
Nathan.
not have any restrictions.
Oh, let's see. Archivists cannot begin the game with any combat ability as a focus. Drones, as I said, are quite wide open. The soldier, as I said, you have to have that one, and you cannot have these as trained or you cannot have them as prior or focus. Right. Incidentally, I believe that well, that's using the dice. I want to prior abilities. Yes. So roll 1 die, everybody. Okay, you have 2 prior abilities. You have 3 prior abilities. Did you roll? Okay, you have 1 prior ability.
Okay, me too.
Okay.
Well, at least it's like if I may have to.
Yes, correct. If you don't take strength as a focus, then it will become prior. Okay. So.
And we can pick up whatever we want.
Well, let's see. For a technician, you cannot have the combat abilities, and you can't have medicine as a focus.
Okay.
For prior, you can pick anything you want.
Wait, I'm confused.
For focus is what you can.
Yes, it is, but you say that we can take whatever we focus want. So
No, you can take whatever prior you want. Yeah, the other side.
Question. What is different to tell
Yes. The
psionics?
correct. So I mentioned telegnosis.
Ish, like
The clairvoyance and everything, and precognition, all those things. Then there is your good old telekinesis. And then you have telepathy. Of course, everyone has focus in telepathy. And then teleportation. And then you have telergy, which is to affect others' thoughts and emotions. And that is telesthesia, which is the ability to use your senses. How am I going to put it? Telegnosis is knowledge. Telesthesia is senses.
or input?
Yes. So, for example, what is happening in the next room? I would use telesthesia. Something like what happened in the past in the next room, or something like that. Is
like decrypt or analyze.
Correct.
Something, but like the telesthesia will give like the highest resolution,
right?
But not translation or
exactly correct. Telegnosis would say this person murdered that person. Telesthesia says there's a guy dead in there. Right. So, and this guy is holding a knife, but you don't know that he killed him. So let's see. So those are the and remember, each one has a combat application. And if you want to do interesting things with them, like you say, well, if I have telekinesis, can I do this? And it's weird or a little bit, applied, then you just need a good level of success to do it.
I can even like use a telekinesis to like pull something forward and then like.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of good things like that to do. There's a system for that to turn your psionics into an applied physical action. So
can you use it on yourself?
It depends on which kind. Let's see. Well, again, let's.
Like if I want to hide, well, like from myself.
Mm-hmm. So yes, you can. Let's see. Telekinesis apparently is oriented toward other things, not you. Although it's kind of interesting, I wonder. It doesn't say you cannot. I'm kind of interested However, there are weight limits, you see, so we decide whether you
Yeah.
can get yourself up or not. But so I think that might be okay. For example,
But I think like it's like you can alter your movements yourself or like manipulate.
I don't know. We would have to look at the rules for using these in unusual ways. It's a matter of can you roll well enough or things like that. So to continue, we now know a lot about your characters because there is not much to know. You should know that when you roll these numbers, sometimes you will, for example, have a +1 before the roll. So you look at the dice, you pick the one with the lowest value, and that one gets the modifier. So this was an 18, but if you had a +1, you now have a 24, because this becomes a 4. So things like that. The modifier goes in the direction that helps you if you want to roll higher, if you want to roll low.
Because with the player skills, you want to roll
Exactly.
lower.
Exactly correct. In which case, minus, you subtract it.
It's the more.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and so then, let's see. We are about ready to play. There's a lot of things. Oh, well, you might want to ask me a few things, like what certain things are, what particular skills are.
To gain focus later.
Yes.
Can you make a prior skill into a focus?
The way it works is like this. There's a very nice set of rules about this that are quite important.
I haven't set this up because
this is not.
So I don't do anything. Oh, I should put this in my.
Exactly. So so the way it works is, there we go. As the game proceeds, okay, right there. Yes. If you want to, you can take a completely unfamiliar, unchecked box and make it into a focus. You can do that. You can take a prior to a focus or a focus to a prior. So you don't go from nothing to prior to focus, you go from nothing to focus, and then after that you can go back and forth. Your number will always be your number of focus abilities, so the number may change due to that.
It was more if you should set something in prior, or if I should wait until something wait for put something and then something focus.
Either one can go to a focus. It costs 2 points to go from prior to focus, 3 points to go from untrained to focus.
Okay.
So it's really not that different. If you look at the bars on the right, you will see that you have stuns and wounds. If you take stuns and wounds and the lines cross, you fall unconscious. So if you took, for example, 4 wounds and 7 stun, you fall unconscious. Right? If you go all the way to stun with no wounds, all the way down, you fall unconscious. If you take all these wounds and you don't have any stun, then you start dying. Right there. So. Okay, so what are our names?
115716.
115716. Okay.
805211.
249800.
286263.
Excellent. Well, all of you are on a particular task accompanied by 2 soldiers. The archivist has to be brought.
Sorry, I don't think I'm really ready.
I know.
I haven't put in.
I just thought I would chat
About
a
the
little.
mammoth.
I know. I thought I would chat just a little.
But I have questions.
Okay. Tell me a question.
Is quickness brain or body?
Quickness is brain. Oh no. God. I have the ability to say exactly the wrong thing when I'm answering a question or trying to ask a question.
Quickness is body.
Quickness is body, and it particularly refers to speed of crossing territory.
Does that
I
mean
didn't even think of that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And
We will.
That's
the no fault, the no fault theory of character creation, right?
Yeah, no, that's my.
What can go wrong?
Yeah,
I can't call it a mistake if I didn't care at the time, right? So.
whatever. I meant it that way.
That's right. So, Homa, any other questions?
I'm still not sure about, I multiply the two dice. And the target number is what is going to be in the focus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a number between 1 and 9.
Mm-hmm. So if you get a number higher than, for a focus skill, then you would want to get 9 or higher.
Mm-hmm. For everything else, I want to get 9 or lower.
Correct. Or under 9, 8 or lower.
Mm-hmm. Good, got that.
Can you use teleportation on somebody else?
I'm going to have to look in some of the rules about going extra. The basic use is for yourself.
Yeah.
But I keep saying if, because by definition in these rules, you can go past the basic.
Mm.
But you simply have to get higher levels of success to do it.
I guess throwing is like taking something and throwing it.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Throwing is literally throwing something away.
Shooting is like pew pew.
Mm-hmm.
Combat. Okay, if I have combat psionics, I can use an ability to like.
Yes. For example, everybody has telepathy.
Mm.
So if you have combat psionics, then you can distract them. You can use your mind as a way to keep ruining their chances. You can make them hesitate and lose actions. And you can also, so yes, they will not be able to initiate actions if you can get some successes with that. So it's effectively a weapon.
And I have to have like focus or prior units.
Correct. Well, no. Remember,
It's
everybody has all of these.
Yeah.
Everybody, even you, are untrained in medicine.
Yeah. How do you
Okay,
succeed
for
at
example.
untrained? How do you succeed at untrained?
You have to get under your number.
Ah. Also, the same with prior.
Prior is equal to or under your number.
Ah.
Okay, sorry that I'm still confused with what focus and prior we can take.
Yes,
That's...
for you as a technician,
yeah,
you may not take either prior or focus
yeah.
for combat.
Fair.
You may not take prior or
Okay.
focused for medicine.
Yeah.
But you must, I believe, take one of the others as a focus.
Yes.
And then there was some other thing, right? Telekinesis or
I have,
something?
yeah, telekinesis or...
Or one of those, yeah.
Mechanics, yeah.
So, and
That's focused, okay.
Mhm.
And I
And
can...
you can take anything else as you desire.
In focus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Up to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Up to 9, okay.
So you can give your character some individuality and do something unusual for your cast. Just not fighting for you. Drones, of course, can create a salad of a character if you want.
Very average.
Cleverness and agility.
Hmm? Yes. So the there.
I don't think I understand the numbers, but it's fine. I will say.
This is quite important because
So
if you
This is how many you have.
focus, yes. So if you agility is good used for anything like climbing up stuff and things like that. But more importantly, it is your defense roll for missile or thrown attacks. So if you want to not be shot, agility is the way to go. If you don't want to have your mind blasted open, willpower is the way to go. If you don't want to get punched in the face, then brawling is the way to go.
If you want to die, don't take anything.
That's right. Oh, yeah. I might warn you that the game does take damage kind of seriously.
Well,
we
telling
do.
us the first day is 55.
Now, we should talk a little bit more about gear. The technician, also has computer linkages, computer links, just like the archivist. But it's kind of the opposite. They are good at archives and libraries and things, and have a penalty to drive things and stuff like that. You are the other way around. And then you have at least one eye replaced with an artificial sensor that changes its magnification. And let's see, you have the standard tool set implanted into your arms. So you can do everything, including little lasers that you can use, right, for, little technical adjustments and things.
Cleverness.
Cleverness is used. Here we go. It's perception, but also a matter of figuring out something that is unfamiliar. Interestingly enough, as a hive member, you have probably never used your cleverness before. So you may discover how clever you are. Or perhaps if you have used it, you didn't realize it was you because you were operating in concert with a bunch of other people. And everybody just thought, well, we were clever today. So you have all these tools built into your arms with little wrenches, the Swiss Army knife, right? And exactly. And you have the eye, and you have the computer linkages. And the drones, you have one item of gear that goes with one of your skills. But if it's a weapon, you will not have it built into your body. Drones are not specialized for fighting enough to do that kind of intervention. And then for you, as I said, you have that number of weapons, and they are assumed that at least one of these weapons is built in somewhere.
Like pistols, like arms that punch.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting idea. Yeah. You may also choose built-in armor if you want, but don't forget that you will take penalties. If you have 1 point of armor, you have an automatic -1 on everything. So,
Did you want to survive? Well, I don't know if you will.
yeah, exactly. So then, yes, soldiers tend to go either for agility or for armor, one or the other. And then for the archivist, just to check on the gear, we talked about the memory chips, the computer links. And for you should mark this, on all of your psionic ability, every time you use a psionic ability, you get a +1.
Nice.
Even for untrained and priors. So. And of course that would be a -1 for untrained and priors.
Yeah.
So not too bad. So are we arriving at the right focus number yet for everybody? Getting some idea?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the gear, like what I don't get what kind of.
Well,
Should
for
we
example,
define the item now, or?
Well, there's lists of things, but more importantly, what skill, look at your sort of labor-oriented or skills, and then we would look at the gear list.
Mark, focus, quickness, telepathy, and teleportation.
Okay.
And then like the prior is, well, I mean, I can get only one, but I have the strength that comes.
Automatically, yes.
And then throwing.
Aha. So you could, for example.
I was thinking more like, the kind of like person in all the places, like the.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, there's all sorts of things that you can do. One thing for these, think I need to look at this section. These are things you may come across. Well, I'm not so sure. I mean, you have interesting abilities that aren't like fixing machines, right? So it seems to me as though you might have you might have something that is about your psionics. So I'm just going to go and make things kind of interesting here. You will have a side chip in your head, built into your forehead, and you will, when you start using a psionic power, well, this is up to you whether you want to have this or not.
Mm-hmm.
When you start using a psionic power, I think you have to use a point of stun. You have to give yourself a point of stun. And then when you, yes, all psionic abilities cost a character 1 point of stun damage when they are initiated. If you want, you can have this chip give you a +2 bonus for any psionic ability, which is pretty damn good, except that it will cost 2 stun to use them.
Yeah, but I guess if you're going to fix circulating, maybe.
Right, okay.
Maybe.
That one's up to you to decide about that. But it seems if you were going to be that psionic drone, that would be something they would probably build into you.
High reward, I guess. Maybe.
And another thing you can, this is called a psi chip, PSI chip, or as in English we like to say pounds per square inch chip. But another interesting point is that you can always spend a point of stun to give yourself a +1.
+1 is for
Right, correct, the bonus, an improvement.
So could I have, if I do that, +3?
Yes.
Oh.
You spend 3 stun and then you would have +3 to your low line, which is insane.
Yeah, I don't know if it's nice because I don't still know everything, but it's probably good.
Yeah, sounds fun actually. Okay, so how about have we arrived at our reluctant conclusion? What number did you get, Emma?
We are taking off.
Okay.
Do you want me to lock the door?
Because we cannot see it, that's probably good. And I have the key.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Thanks.
Hello.
6.
Okay.
I don't know if it's true, it's so.
I don't count the prior, right? Just the focuses.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's in fact that number is called your focus. I see we are going to wait for chatter. Really see chatter. This is the part that I go in my editing and I just go.
That is the easy part.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
100 minutes, let's say.
Yeah, little tiny things though, on screen that's not so bad. In person, there are a lot more small bits. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos that I post. I like to try to preserve the reality of play rather than creating kind of an artificial thing where we talk like actors. So, but still, there are times when we waste time or get distracted or something. And I'm like, oh well, nobody wants to watch us suddenly decide to eat chocolate and talk about chocolate for a while. Or if I did, then I put that in a special channel on its own, right? So, okay. That's my clicks, right? I can hear the clicks coming.
Maybe we should.
Yeah. That's right. I can have my clickbait channel to raise the YouTube.
Let's talk about chocolate.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Speaking of.
I didn't know they have like this
kind of tasty.
The red ones, I think, have
I
some
know,
kind
they
of
have the
cream in it.
Oh, really? I did not know
This
about
one?
this.
Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. Like, the
You
first
can,
time
I tell you, you can eat too many of them.
Oh, you have learned.
I have learned.
probably like the first time when I tried however it's called, like the ball, like what you find here too.
Mm.
It was like, I haven't ever had anything so smooth. Like it's so good. So good.
So talk about chocolate.
I was going to say, this is, I can
Welcome
find,
to the chocolate.
this may qualify as pornography on YouTube though, if it was something done, so.
You better not.
Kids strike.
Well, Odin, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, do you want to write down your weapons and things? You know, you need to look at some options. There's some interesting weapons for you to choose from. You're a soldier, you need to know. Now you are all kind of low status with 6 numbers, so that's why you don't have a lot of the fancy things. It's just that you forced me into picking one of the fancy things because it's the only thing that made sense. So, but that's why the gear that you are receiving is basic and generic and is not these more specialized or one would imagine that if you have 2 digits, then you would have some really fancy implants of some kind.
Do we have to use these names?
I
I hope not, because if yes, then I'm only 6. You know, or 1.
That's
because
right.
it's my first letter. Kind of.
When it's used to number, does it mean what type of wound?
No, the number is the multiplier for the wounds that it does, for the damage that it does. So if you get 1 success with an axe, your roll gives you 1 success, 1 degree, then it will do 2.
Because some say stun, some say stun with wounds,
Right.
some say nothing.
The ones that say nothing do both. So if you hit someone with, right, so let's see. So yes, that is the and I'll just double check this. Okay, so you may also take a recovery sometimes. If you are taking a lot of damage, you can roll either strength or willpower and gain some stun back, for example. That is allowed. And the routines for confrontations and things we will learn as we go. So Odin, I'm looking at your, what am I thinking? Cast ability. There's also cast ability. Oh, I see. Okay, well, I guess you would say for you would pick one of either the mechanics or the telekinesis, and that would be your cast ability. I don't really see why you need to write that there. And for you, it would be any of your combat abilities are your cast ability. And I don't think the drone has one.
I have seriously feeling
then the cleverness and the telegnosis are cast abilities. And so, I don't know, the drones may be a little bit surprised, actually.
It's fine, it's fine. I think it's...
Cast abilities?
For you are your combat abilities. And have you chosen your weapons? I took away the book. Mm.
It's going to be terrible if it's freezing in front of me.
Do you want me to take it away?
I would say yes, please, but
Yeah.
I'm not the only one here, so.
Don't give him moral choices, right? I don't need any moral
Do you
choices.
want the safety?
Want or need?
Throwing is more like taking what you have around yourself rather than having.
No, there are throwing weapons.
Ah. Like that. Okay, I don't find myself like using this like stone block as.
Throwing, no, stone, knives, spears, and stone blocks.
Mm.
And then, okay, so yeah, there. And there is always the power blade to mount into to replace your hand, chainsaw, vibro blade, spinning circular saw, or even an electrically rigidified monofilament wire. Very 90s. Yeah.
Is it to cut the butter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's precisely what that is. And for some reason, the authors cared a lot about all the different ways to use a shotgun. So the damage from the shotgun has all these different categories.
Where is it from? Is it American?
Mm.
Okay.
It's important that everyone wants a shotgun.
Mhm.